Contract or no, I will not bow to any sponsor.
We all have at least one friend who follows all the trends.
Look at him. Look at the nerd.
What you call a nerd, man?
Today, we're going to talk about all the foods these people love. Secretly, we all love them too, but we're too shy to admit that we all sometimes follow trends blindly when we should stop and think if we actually like it. With that in mind, here are 10 popular foods that are overrated.
I want the double cheeseburger, but I'm gonna go healthy and get the fish and chips.
Pumpkin spice. Do you remember when the pumpkin spice craze started a few years ago? It was nice to see that there was something flavored with the spice that you associate with not just Halloween, but all of the fall season. Then, out of nowhere, everything began to be taken over with pumpkin spice.
But could a person survive solely on pumpkin spice products?
The oddest thing is that it hit store shelves long before a chill hit the air. You're still sweating and drinking lemonade out on the back porch when the pumpkin spice flavoring is everywhere and for all to see. Every aisle you go in, the store seems to have pumpkin spice flavored stuff.
There's enough coffee made pumpkin spice flavor for one more cup.
Rock, paper, scissors.
You can't even enter the alcohol and beer aisle or visit your favorite coffee place without being hit right in the face with pumpkin spice products. You might love pumpkin spice, but by the time autumn is over, you're going to hate it.
Pumpkin spice lattes. The coffee that tastes like a candle.
You will thank your lucky stars once the snow starts to fly and all the pumpkin spice products are retired until next year. Guacamole. Guacamole is good as a condiment on many things. It's also good to dip corn chips in. What ruins guacamole for most isn't anything with the avocado paste itself. No, that stuff is good. The thing that sucks about guacamole is the people who call it guac.
With the guac from my chip hat.
Yes, you know who you are. You don't ask for guacamole, and you don't call it that when you talk about it with friends. Don't you realize that you're making everyone not want to savor the flavor of guacamole? How can we get back to civilization from here? The way we do it is by starting to call it guacamole. It's simple, really. Try your best not to call it guac. Seriously, give it a try. It's not that hard. Just think of all the people who you'll be helping. No one wants to hear you say guac throughout the day. Go ahead, try it. Say guacamole just one time while watching this. Do you want to do the world a favor? If so, then you'll stop calling it guac. Low and no-calorie carbonated beverages.
Diet Coke. Who are you, my mom?
Yes, we're talking about soda here. Who doesn't love a cold, sweet, and bubbly drink? These sugary drinks can be the perfect snack in themselves, and they pair great with a lot of different foods. After all, nothing goes together better with pizza than a fizzy drink. So what's the big deal about diet soda? Well, it's how much people drink it. Rarely does anyone have one diet soda per day.
Between the two of us, you probably skip the Diet Cokes.
Some people might drain an entire 12-pack of the stuff. The logic here is that they think since the diet pop has no calories that they can drink an unlimited amount. First off, large doses of sugar substitute aren't good for anyone. Second, if you're drinking something with caffeine, you're getting a jolt from it. Drinking anything diet in moderation is key to being able to do it and stay healthy.
Here's Mountain Dew Zero.
I am thirsty.
Cupcakes.
Take a bite.
It's hard to rant on something as delicious as cake. But cupcakes are a little different. Do you remember a few years ago when everyone went crazy over cupcakes? It had to make you think you were back at a grade school bake sale.
Why are they so good?
Caramel number 6.
One of the worst things about cupcakes is the price. While they seem to be cheap, you actually end up paying a whole lot more for them at the store than you would for an entire cake. What's up with that? Also, it's so much more work to make cupcakes at home. Though it sure is fun peeling the cupcake away from its cute little wrapper. You don't need to admit that you eat all the crumbs that stick to the cupcake paper. You don't need to admit it because everyone does it. Just as everyone licks the mixing spoon and goops up all that cake batter mix.
This is Clash of the Cupcakes.
Rice cakes.
Ah!
Have you ever been offered a rice cake by someone who thought they were the best snack on planet Earth? Did it come in a particular flavor? You know, like sour cream and onion or barbecue? There seem to be all kinds of flavors of these rice cakes. You don't know what those flavors are, and most of the world doesn't either, because usually most people don't want to go anywhere near those things. You want a snack, not something that resembles styrofoam. Let's now turn our attention to the taste of rice cakes, or the lack thereof. The rice cake itself has almost no flavor at all. There is usually some dusting of powder on it to remind you that you're eating food. Then there's the texture of the rice cake. We were probably generous to call the texture of rice cakes like styrofoam. It's like you're eating compressed packaging peanuts. You try your hardest to find some flavor in each bite of the rice cake. The hardest part is trying to act as if you enjoyed it. You want to be respectful and let the person know that you're thankful they gave you a rice cake. However, you don't want to appear to enjoy it so much that they ask if you'd like another.
These are a fundamental part of my lunchtime regime. And mine too.
Seafood.
What's the freshest? They're all fresh. How about the halibut? Is it gamey? Gamey?
Seafood is one of those things that people seem to go crazy over. Have you ever looked at what you're eating? That thing on your plate looks like it came from outer space. The most normal-looking thing that comes out of the sea is fish. They aren't exactly the most appealing-looking creatures on the earth. If you ever need to have an instant panic attack, look at the teeth on a piranha. If the teeth on those little suckers don't scare the daylights out of you, then nothing will. Luckily, not all fish are eaten with the head still on. Who gets to decide which fish is served with the head on it? That's weird in itself. There aren't many foods that you eat where the entire animal is served from head to tail. Lobsters, crabs, and other bottom dwellers look like something straight out of a sci-fi horror movie. Imagine waking up with shellfish covering your entire body. If you ever found yourself eyeball to eyeball with a lobster, you wouldn't find yourself trying to find a bucket of melted butter.
This one. Yeah, that's my guy.
Doesn't it tell you something when a food item needs to be dunked into a lot of butter to be edible?
Is it fishy? It's fish. You know what I mean.
Smoothies.
How about a smoothie? What's in that?
Smoothie's a juice drink.
On paper, smoothies sound like a great idea. Who doesn't love the idea of gulping down a delicious, creamy drink? What's so bad about smoothies? Well, nothing really. There's nothing wrong with smoothies if you fully understand what you're drinking. The real problem is when you think they're healthier than a milkshake and they aren't. How many people stack the sugar and fat in smoothies to make them easier to go down? With that in mind, smoothies aren't healthier than a milkshake.
Mother, Oreo smoothie now!
You may find that a milkshake from your favorite fast food joint is healthier than the smoothie your neighbor is pounding down. What about those smoothies people at the gym drink? It's true there are many smoothies that are good for you. No one is going to deny that a smoothie made right is healthy. Sure, you can go to your local gym and order up a frothy beverage after a hearty workout. You can also make smoothies at home with fruit, low-fat milk, and ice cubes. Though it seems everyone who starts drinking smoothies always ends up going down the unhealthy route.
You ever just get tired of being where you are, Adrian? No, I kind of like it here. I mean, the waits are new to
I mean in life, man.
Sriracha.
Sriracha.
It seems that these days there are not enough things to put sriracha on. It's hard to believe that sriracha is just a hot sauce. Yes, that's all it is. Sure, it's a mighty tasty hot sauce. No one is going to argue that sriracha isn't some of the best hot sauce out there. But it's not like hot sauce has never existed. You'd think that all the new sriracha converts recently learned something new. Hot sauce has been around since hot peppers and chilies existed. It's known worldwide, and people eat it every day of the week. That's what makes sriracha so interesting. It's like the entire world just woke up one day to learn that hot sauce was a thing. What do you put sriracha on? Now is the time to be honest and admit that you put it on some strange things. People used to think it was weird to put hot sauce on scrambled eggs. Lovers of sriracha are going way beyond putting it on their eggs. It's not unheard of for people to put it on their popcorn. It's even been mentioned that some like to put sriracha on their ice cream. Quinoa.
What's this stuff that looks like sand?
It's quinoa.
Nope, I don't eat foods that sound like karate words.
No one out there is quite sure how to pronounce quinoa properly. If you asked 10 different people, they'd all have a different pronunciation. No matter how you say quinoa, it's been on the lips of many people for quite a while. Oddly enough, people shouldn't be so enthralled with quinoa, considering all the other low-carb diets and foods there are. We might not be saying quinoa properly, we're not really sure how to cook it, but we are all eating it. We're gobbling it up so much that the origins of where it comes from are in short supply of it. The locals who grow it south of the border can't afford it these days. We've stolen it right from their hands.
I brought quinoa from home.
That's how high the prices of quinoa have skyrocketed. What's the big deal about quinoa? It has more protein than typical high-carb foods, sure, but it also has way less flavor. If you're into eating stuff that tastes like nothing, then put quinoa on your grocery list next to the rice cakes. Seriously, this stuff has little to no taste at all. It has protein, and plenty of it though. Tell yourself that when you're eating a bowl of the tasteless stuff while trying to convince yourself that it's worth the effort and economic decline.
The heck is quinoa?
Kale.
Phil, your child-sized kale salad will arrive at 7:37 p.m.
What kind of phone is this?
You knew the kale craze was over the top when people were baking cakes with the stuff in it. There's nothing wrong with wanting to eat a healthy, green, leafy vegetable. It's something everyone should try to do more of. However, people pushed kale way over the top, and unfortunately, the trend isn't done growing yet. How would you like to wash down your kale chips with some kale soda? Yes, kale soda is a thing too. There's nothing wrong with enjoying kale. You might as well add some to your favorite smoothie mix. Why not add a few shots of Sriracha while you're at it? All kidding aside, adding more healthy vegetables to your diet isn't a bad thing. Though you probably should balance things out a bit. If you're eating kale like a cow does grass, then you've got a problem. Diversity is a good thing, unless you're a kale farmer. If you are, then you're probably seeing plenty of green while your fields of greens are being depleted in record time.
This holiday season is about friends, family, joy, and kale!
Stick around, tap on another video, subscribe to our channel, and click that notification bell.